Hi, my name is Miss Toy to Review. Welcome to my channel, and I am sharing my weight loss journey. This is my second video. My video I did yesterday was telling a little bit about my background, what medication I'm on, why did I get started, and how much weight I lost. And how long it took me and why I decided to get on the medication. And so I'm not gonna go through all that today, but I'll just give a little, a little quick recap. I have been on the medication for 18 months. I have lost over 100 pounds, and 94 of those pounds, when I recalculated, has been with the help of a GLP-1, which I use Zepbound. And I have been very happy with my results. And so I decided after my journey, even though I'm still on the journey, to be honest, I decided to come on and share my journey, my experience, what I've learned to help people that's just coming in or are still in the community right now. So I'm just happy to be finally a part of it behind the camera and not just always in the comments. So anyway, welcome. I hope you decide to join my family and hit subscribe. I would love to have you. And I have a lot more videos to come. Today, I want to talk about weight loss. Weight loss is a big thing when it comes to GLP-1s. When we follow people, one of the reasons we want to follow them, we want to know how they're doing, what was their starting weight, what weight are they right now, how tall are they, things like that. People want to know that answer. So for me, I started at 276 pounds on the GLP-1. I am currently 180 pounds. I am 5'3". No, I'm 5'4". Take that back. I'm 5'4", not 5'3". And that's my story. So I do not know what my goal weight is going to be. I feel like I'm close to it, but yet I don't know. I don't know. So I'm still on my journey. And I'm going to talk about that on another video as well and get more into depth of what I'm doing, how I take my medication and everything. But today I want to just talk about, I know that we all lose weight at a different rate. And it's very hard not to compare your journey to another person's journey. And the way they kind of categorize people that's on a GLP-1, they usually say you're a hyper responder, or you're a hypo responder, or a non-responder. So a hyper is like a super responder, somebody who's losing weight at a rapid pace. A hypo responder, to me, a lot of people would say they're slow responders, but in my opinion, they're really where the medication wants you to be, losing about 0.5 to 2 pounds a week. And then the non-responders are the ones that's taking the medication but not really seeing any results until they get to the higher dosages, or they don't see any results at all. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. I am not a doctor. I am not a nurse. I'm not in the medical field. This is just from my experience on the medication and what I've seen throughout my time on this journey. And so let's talk about the hyper responder. A hyper responder is somebody who's losing weight at a quick rate. And you might be asking yourself, how are they losing weight so fast? And the way I look at it is that we all respond to medication differently. So for example, if one person takes a Benadryl, I have a friend, she'll take a Benadryl and she will pass out. Knocked out right after she take the Benadryl. I could go in the bathroom right now, take a Benadryl and go to work and be at work the whole day, alert, everything. It does not make me drowsy. So I have a higher tolerance to medication. She has a lower tolerance to medication. So the medication affects us. We're taking the same medication, but it affects us differently. And that's the same thing with a GLP-1. You could be taking the same medication and it can affect your body differently. So that's why they constantly tell you, don't compare your journey to another person's journey, because you're two different people. Another thing that people that are hyper responders that's losing at a super rate, because the medication sometimes is very strong for them, when they first start the medication, they're having side effects. So they're losing a lot of the weight, but they can't eat. They might be nauseous. They might be having other issues. And a lot of people that are hyper responders, they may stop the medication because it's too strong. And but they're losing at a very fast pace. So you might see people, and a lot of times you think, if you're not a hyper responder, you might think you are, you know, not the majority, but you really are the majority. What the thing is that people who are hyper responders, that's losing at a very fast rate, those are the ones that post because they're excited about how much they're losing. They can't believe how much they lost. So those are the ones that's a little more prone to get on camera and share their journey. A lot of the hypo and the non-responders, they don't feel as comfortable getting on camera because they think they're not losing enough, or they're not losing nothing at all. So they don't want to get on camera because they think they're not being successful. So of course, people who think they're being successful are going to be more prone to make videos. So that is why you see more people that are hyper responders that are sharing their journey. So you got to remember that, okay? Just because they're sharing their journey, that does not make them the majority. Another thing is, a lot of people, they start off on this medication and they have water retention. And this medication helps to release that. And so if you're holding on to a lot of water, you may drop big numbers on the scale that first month because of that. And so if you're a person that's not holding a lot of water retention, you don't have a lot of water retention, your legs are not swole, your ankles aren't swole, then guess what? That might not be you. So see, that's why we can't compare ourselves. Another thing is, even though it could be two overweight people, somebody might have been overweight and was eating 5,000 calories a day. They just ate a lot of calories. And so now they're on the medication and they went from eating 5,000 calories to barely eating 1,000. So yes, they may drop a lot of weight that first month on the medication because their body is in shock. Like, what is going on? I'm used to eating this amount of calories and now I'm only eating 1,000 calories. So that could be another reason why people that are hyper responders are losing at a very fast rate. And then you have another group of hyper responders who are just very focused. They respond very well to the medication and they're tracking their food, they're exercising, they're doing all the things. And they're doing it at the beginning of their journey. A lot of people that's on these GLP-1s, it takes them a minute before they start incorporating the exercise, start incorporating tracking their calories and their protein and their fiber. And so some people come right in the gate running. And those that come in running, sometimes they get better results. And so these are just some of the reasons, not all the reasons, just some of the reasons that people may be dropping big numbers on the scale their first couple of months on the medication. But it will eventually slow down. If you're on the medication long enough, you will know that it will slow down. Now let's go to the hypo responders. Hypo responders usually consider themselves slow responders, but they really losing weight at the rate the medication want them to lose it, which is about 0.5 to 2 pounds. They don't really want you to lose big numbers every week. That is a concern for the doctors when they see that you're losing big weight every week, big numbers, because a lot of times you're going to be losing not just fat, but you're going to also be losing muscle. And they don't want that to happen. So any doctor pretty much do not want to see you dropping 5 pounds every week. That's not going to be a good look unless you are really obese, morbidly obese. You and I'm not going to say a weight, but you got a big number to lose, okay? Other than that, they really don't want you to lose that kind of weight every single month. All right, as you can see, our outfit changed because my phone died. So this is the next day. So I remember where I left off. So if you still here, press like and subscribe. So anyway, I'm going to wrap this up. I'm on a hypo responder. So another thing about hypo responder, why you might not be losing any weight, you're not eating enough food. A lot of times we think, okay, if I don't eat that much, I'm going to lose weight. And sometimes you get the opposite effect and your body go in starvation mode and holds on to the food and you don't lose any weight. So even though you might not be consuming that many calories, your body is still not losing any weight on the scale. So make sure you are eating enough food. Another thing which is surprising could be exercise. I know you might be thinking, Miss Toy, I do exercise, and you probably are exercising, but when you incorporate weights into your regimen, sometimes you're building muscle, and muscle weigh more than fat. So you can be doing everything right, and it's not showing on the scale because you're building muscle. And it eventually drop on the scale, but that might be the reason that you're not losing weight, or not at the rate that you want to lose weight. And another thing I say is inches. One thing I learned about this medication, you might not be losing pounds on the scale, but you could be losing inches. So you might find that people are saying to you, wow, you look amazing, you're losing weight. And you're thinking to yourself, the scale has been the same for the last 2 weeks. Well, what is happening is you're losing inches, but you're not losing the pounds. The pounds will eventually catch up. So stay encouraged because you are on the right track. So take your measurements. If you haven't taken your measurements yet, take your measurements, and then once a month or every 2 months, or however you want to do it, check them and see if you can see any difference. And trust me, you will see a difference. All right, so now let's go to the non-responders. If you are a non-responder of this medication so far, you might need to titrate up. A lot of people say, oh, stay on one dose for a long time. And that's some good advice for some people. But you have to remember that the 2.5, that's a starter dose. So for some people, they can really be successful on those smaller doses. And then some people, they need to titrate up because the medication is not strong enough for them. And if that's you, that is okay. Everybody's journey is different. So it's okay to titrate up. It's nothing wrong with that. Another thing that could be stopping the non-responders are your medications. Everybody are on different medications. Everybody has different issues, okay? So some of the medications that you may be currently taking might affect your weight loss. That's something you're going to have to talk to your doctor about. And hormonal imbalances. A lot of us are in our 40s and higher. And so our hormones is off balance, a lot of us. So that can affect your weight loss. And that can go with anybody. And then if you have type 2 diabetes, it is known that they lose weight a lot slower than somebody without it. So it can be a lot of different reasons of why you're not losing weight. And I'm hoping that this video was helpful to you in some type of way. And I hope that it has encouraged you to keep going, because even when you think you don't see results, they are happening. So I'm glad you stayed to the end. Please press like and subscribe, and I have more videos to come. Bye.